Chaotically Nerdy is made by nerds for nerds. This podcast is made by adults for adults and children with bad parents. Adult language will be used and adult situations may arise. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Chaotically Nerdy. On today's episode, you have me, Tyler, one of your hosts. You also have your other host,
Jarrett.
And we still don't have Ethan because he's still a bitch.
Yep. Fuck you, Ethan.
And so, continuing with the theme, because we're recording this right after the Rogue episode, we still have our guest, Sean. Sean, say hello to everybody.
Good evening.
That's not what we said. It said hello.
Hello.
I get mad at Ethan for saying hello, and then I'm like, that's right. I'm letting him do all the things I won't let you do, Ethan.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the other character that Sean plays. This is why we're recording it right after the Rogue. It will not come out in this order. That class is Warlock. You're currently playing a Warlock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Is this one of your
character's a Warlock.
Is this one of your first ones?
This is my first Warlock, yes.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about him or her or it.
It's definitely an it.
It is a full Hexblade. It's not multi-classed. He is a goblin who works for a devil of greed. So basically, he's a company man. He goes around and does jobs for people in exchange for having them sign a contract that's a TOD. So when they die, all their magical possessions then transfer to him. And so he does these jobs free of payment in exchange for them signing away their magical goods when they're dead. He doesn't usually kill them off, but it's happened.
I mean, how many times has this happened? Also, with you saying it, I was expecting like a Warforged.
No,
like,
it's just, he is whatever.
it's just a goblin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand why you said it.
Fucking
but
click
It's
clack.
like a cross
Click,
between
clack.
a Warcraft
I knew
goblin and a
I've seen that on
Diablo
D&D.
treasure goblin.
Solid.
I don't know. That's like happened in the actual game like 3 or 4 times.
I think so.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so let's jump in it. We're going to talk about the Warlock features. Again, we're not going to talk about the table or any of that stuff, and we're not going to... The other thing to mention is we're not going to talk about all the Eldritch Invocations because there's like 42 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we've all picked out 2 of our, not necessarily favorites, but ones that we like and you should consider picking at least. Whether you pick them or not is completely up to you.
I'm assuming it's you. By the way, you just keep talking.
I did roll, but I'll roll again.
Did you forget?
I forgot, and I had already fixed the dice. It was not me. I remember that much. It's you. It was one of you two, but now it's you.
Can't tell if that was out of spite or not.
No, it was a legitimate 3.
Okay, you have a D8 per Warlock level for your health. Proficiencies, you get light armor. Weapons, you get simple weapons. You don't get any tool proficiencies. Saving throws, you get wisdom and charisma. For your skills, you pick 2 from Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. We're going to skip your equipment. First level, you have your otherworldly patron. That is what your different subclasses are called. They're based on your patrons. So you get a level abilities at 1st, 6th, 10th, and 14th. So pack magic, their spellcasting works differently than other spellcasting. Basically, you get at the max 4 slots, and they regenerate on short rests.
Yeah,
and
very different than every other class.
Yeah,
which we'll break that down a lot more whenever we do the spellcasting episode.
You also have your Eldritch Invocations, like which we said. I guess we'll do that now. We do that now. Or after?
Yeah, let's just go through and tell. You can start it, and then we'll make a circle back to you.
Pick the probably the most important one if you're gonna use Eldritch Blast, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Agonizing Blast that lets you add your charisma modifier to the damage it deals on a hit. And
actually, let's roll back just a hair to the spells. So you get cantrips.
Oh, the cantrips.
That's why you would take Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
It is a cantrip. It is a Warlock only
exclusive
cantrip.
Yeah.
And it's very good. I mean, it's the
Yes.
Warlock cantrip. Like,
It's like Firebolt, but better because it lets you split the different. Let you target multiple creatures.
Yes.
Based on your level.
Yeah.
You get a beam at every time it goes up. Whatever it is, fifth or whatever. When I think it's fifth,
I think
ninth,
it's fifth. Yeah.
whatever. Whenever your cantrips increase, you get basically another beam, which is why Agonizing Blast is really good because you can add up to potentially 20 damage on top of your D10 rolls.
Yes.
At high levels.
And that's why most of what we mentioned will probably be tied to the cantrip Eldritch Blast. If you see a Warlock without Eldritch Blast, it is a weird Warlock.
It happened.
My Warlock doesn't have it.
You're a weird Warlock.
Lurk didn't have Eldritch Blast.
Lurk was dumb, though.
Yeah. The other one I would also mention is Eldritch Mind. It lets you gain advantage on Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration on spell. It's essentially the Warcaster feat for free without having to take the feat.
Free-ish.
Free-ish.
You don't have to waste an
of-
ability score improvement.
Yeah. Or if you want to take a different feat.
Yeah, depending on how your DM gives you that. So, Sean, what's the two you're going to tell us about?
My first of my favorite invocations would be Eldritch Sight, which lets you cast Detect Magic at will without expending a spell slot. This is great for RP if you're playing a greedy character who wants to find the magical loot that's out there. Cast it as often as you want. When you're investigating a suspicious item, you'll be able to tell if it's magic. My second favorite invocation is Eldritch Smite, which is a Pack of the Blade specific feature. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with your pack weapon, you can expend a Warlock spell slot to deal an extra 1d8 force damage to that target, plus another 1d8 per level of the spell slot. You can knock the target prone if it is huge or smaller. Warlock spell slots are always their max level, and they recharge on a short rest, and this is a guaranteed prone if you hit. There's no contested roll here. Lets them smite with the best of paladins.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Or if you are a paladin.
Yes.
Double dip.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very common thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the two I'm going to tell you about is Armor of Shadows. So for Armor of Shadows, you can cast Mage Armor on yourself at will without expending a spell slot or material components, which I feel like is very good because you're a Warlock. You're not going to have armor as much.
You do have access to light armor, but the best light armor that's not magical is only 12 plus your dex.
And if you're a Warlock, you're probably not going to have a super
and
high dex.
Mage armor is 13 plus your dex.
I figured.
So,
Sean gave me a look that was like, I have a high dex. So,
yeah.
and then the other one I'm going to talk about is Eldritch Spear. So that is the one that lets you have to have the Eldritch Blast cantrip, obviously, and it lets its range is now 300 feet, which I believe is 120 to start. Is that correct?
That sounds right. Not as much as 300 feet is the important part.
Yes. And so it just makes you a legitimate sniper.
Yeah.
We didn't mention it, but it is important to say that there are some Eldritch invocations that have prerequisites. So you have to be a certain level, you have to be a certain subclass.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Warlock is basically the most customizable class based on the invocations and the patrons and what I'm getting ready to talk about, your pack boons. You can just mix and match to get pretty much however play style you want to play with it. If you want to be melee, it can be melee. If you want to be spellcaster, a blasty spellcaster can be that. If you want to be, anything in between, you can be anywhere on that scale.
Oddly enough, it's one of those that you could have multiple of the party and nobody's going to play.
Yeah, you wouldn't even notice.
You'll play similar, but
you can play similar or you can play completely differently.
yes.
Pact Boon. At third level, your otherworldly patron bestows a gift upon you for your loyal service. You gain one of the following features. Pact of the Blade. You can use your action to create a pact weapon in your empty hand. Choose the form that melee weapon takes whenever you create it. You're proficient with it while you wield it. This weapon counts as a magic weapon for purposes of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Your pact weapon disappears if it's more than 5 feet away from you for 1 minute or more. It also disappears if you use the feature again If you dismiss the weapon, no action required, or if you die. You can transform one magic weapon into your packed weapon by performing a special ritual while you hold the weapon. You perform a ritual over a course of an hour, which can be done during a short rest. Then you can then dismiss weapon, shunting it into an extra dimensional space, and it appears whenever you create the packed weapon and thereafter. Can't affect an artifact or a sentient weapon in this way. The weapon ceases to be your packed weapon if you die, if you perform the 1 hour ritual on a different weapon, or if you use the 1 hour ritual to break the bond to it. The weapon appears at your feet if it is in the extra dimensional space when the bond breaks. So that's just basically like, summon a weapon.
Yeah.
That is the melee option if you are going to be a melee warlock. Pact of the Chain, you learn the Find Familiar spell, and you can cast this ritual. Spell doesn't count against your number of spells known. When you cast a spell, you can choose one of the following. You can choose one of the normal forms of your familiar, or one of the following special forms: an imp, a pseudo dragon, a quasit, or a sprite. Additionally, when you take the attack action, you can forego one of your own attacks to allow your familiar to make one attack with its reaction. Kind of like, like little beast master, kind of like you get a little familiar guy. You can kind of, a pet. You get a pet. It's the pet class. The pet's a part of the class. Pact of the Talisman, which is the newest of the packs. Your patron gives you an amulet, a talisman that you can aid the wearer when the need is great. When the wearer fails an ability check, you can add a d4 to the roll, potentially turning the roll into a success. This benefit can be used a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and all expended uses are restored when you finish a long rest. If you lose the talisman, you can perform a 1 hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. This ceremony can be performed during a short or long rest, and it destroys the previous amulet. The talisman turns to ash when you die. This is probably the weakest of them. It's just it's important to note you can give this talisman to somebody else. You don't have to keep it for yourself. So if you wanted to stack up some bonuses, like on a skill check, you could give somebody the talisman.
Yeah.
Pact of the Tome, your patron grants you a grimoire called the Book of Shadows. When you gain this feature, you choose 3 cantrips from any class spell list. The 3 needn't be from the same list. While the book is on your person, you can cast those cantrips at will. They don't count against you, against your number of cantrips known. If they don't appear on a Warlock spell list, they are nonetheless Warlock spells for you. If you lose your Book of Shadows, you can perform a 1 hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. This ceremony will be performed during a short or long rest, and it destroys the previous book. The book turned to ash when you die. So that one just gives you access to some of those more useful cantrips. I guess if you needed some versatility, I don't know if you would Shillelagh or.
I think I've played 2 Warlocks, and I think I went Tome both times.
Yeah, you can just branch out and get you more damaging spells.
Not that I ever used a cantrip other than
Yeah.
Eldritch Blast, so it was kind of a waste, but
I know a lot of times people get mending or some of those, maybe thaumaturgy or prestidigitation.
I did use thaumaturgy a lot.
You get a cantrip that's more utility and flavor based instead of a damaging cantrip, because you have Eldritch Blast. It's pretty much the best cantrip in the game. Ability score improvement, you get ability score improvement at 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th level. As you know, Mystic Arcanum. So this is how it should be important to note. Pact Magic, with their spellcasting, maxes out at 5th level. So they don't actually have spell slots for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th level spells. What they do have are Mystic Arcanums, which essentially let you choose one spell from that level from the Warlock spell list, and you can cast that once per long rest. 6th level at 11, 7th level at 13th, 8th levels at 15th, and 9th levels at 17th, just like your normal spellcasting progression on other classes, but you just don't get multiple slots. And then at 20th level, you have Eldritch Master. You can draw on your inner reserve of mystical power while entreating your patron to regain expended spell slots. You can spend 1 minute entreating your patron for aid. You regain all expended slots of your Pact Magic feature. Once you regain spell slots with this feature, you can't do so before you finish a long rest, before you can do so again.
There's a lot. It can be, especially if you're coming from a different type of spellcaster, it can be a very complicated.
Down to that, it can be a little bit frustrating with the lack of number of spell slots.
Yes, it is very frustrating. You end up using your cantrips way more because you're just out of spell slots. It makes the spells that you take very, very good.
But also very important, you have to pick the right spells.
Yes, that is true. So let's hop into these subclasses. Again, we've cut some out, like always, because some of them are going to be long.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly. I don't know. I don't play Warlock in such a long time that I couldn't tell you. The last time I played, I think it was just the player's handbook options.
That sounds about right.
So it was Archfey, Fiend, and Great Old One.
Mm-hmm.
That's the three that are from player's handbook.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut the Archfey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to note that you get a certain spell list from them.
Mm-hmm.
And your abilities come from them. It's coming from a patron, so a god, not typically. Someone you sign a contract with is giving you the ability to do the things that you do. For the Archfey, it's literally that. It's a Lord of the Fae, a creature of legend who holds secrets that were forgotten before the mortal races were born. And they just give you some Fae abilities, basically. Then we'll hop into the Celestial, and it'll be me. So the patron's a powerful being of the upper planes. And as far as your expanded spell list, which is just spells that you get, like, you know them, correct? It's the same as the rest of them?
That's what I was looking at.
Or you have to pick them?
I don't think you get them.
Because it just says the following spells are added to the Warlock spell list for you. So
I think that means that they are
available to you, and you can pick them if you want. That kind of sucks compared to other ones that give you those.
Let me double check.
All right. Well, while you're looking at that, I'll read through them. So at first level, I think it has to be like the others, just the way it reads. It reads the exact same. At first level, you get Cure Wounds, Guiding Bolt. At second level, you get Flaming Spear and Lesser Restoration. At third level, you get Daylight and Revivify. At fourth level, you get Guardian of Faith and Wall of Fire. No, that's the spell levels. At fifth level, it's Flame Strike and Greater Restoration. Maybe you don't get them.
You do not.
Okay, so you just get access to these. That's kind of shitty. Because then you have to decide if that's one that you want to choose to add to your spell. That sucks. That makes me dislike Warlock even more. If you're in a home campaign, just say they get them. They don't have enough spell slots for it to matter.
Yeah, it's really not that important.
First level, they get bonus cantrips. They know Light and Sacred Flame. They count as Warlock cantrips for them, but don't count against your number of cantrips known. Also, at first level, you get Healing Light. You gain the ability to channel celestial energy to heal wounds. You have a pool of D6s that you spend to fuel this healing. The number of dice in this pool equals 1 plus your Warlock level. That's interesting. I mean, that's Cure Wounds, basically. As a bonus action, you can heal one creature you can see within 60 feet of you, spending dice from the pool. The maximum number of dice you can spend at once equals your Charisma modifier. Roll the dice you spend, add them together, and restore a number of hit points equal to your total. Your pool regains all expended dice when you finish a long rest. So it's I wouldn't say better than Cure Wounds, but it could be. Because Cure Wounds is a D8, correct? Mm-hmm. So it's in between Healing Word and Cure Wounds, basically.
It's kind of a weaker lay on hands.
Yeah.
I would say it's literally a direct upgrade over
Healing Word. It is. I mean, it's a D6.
D6,
and
same
you can
range.
Yeah. At 6th level, you get Radiant Soul. Your link to the Celestial allows you to serve as a conduit for radiant energy. You have resistance to radiant damage, and when you cast a spell that deals radiant or fire damage, you can add your Charisma modifier to one radiant or fire damage roll of that spell against one of its targets. Would that count with the cantrip, since you get Sacred Flame?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. You finally get to add your Charisma modifier to more than just Eldritch Blast. Mm-hmm. Celestial Resilience, starting at 10th level, you gain temporary hit points whenever you finish a short or long rest. These temporary hit points equal your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier. Additionally, choose up to 5 creatures you can see at the end of the rest. Those creatures each gain temporary hit points equal to half your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier. And at 14th level, you get Searing Vengeance. The radiant energy you channel allows you to resist death. When you have to make a death saving throw at the start of your turn, you can instead spring back to your feet with a burst of radiant energy. You regain hit points equal to half your hit point maximum, and then you stand up if you so choose. Each creature of your choice that is within 30 feet of you takes radiant damage equal to 2d8 plus your Charisma modifier and is blinded until the end of the turn. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So that's kind of like the healer class.
Yeah, it is one of the ones that does successfully augment how you play a warlock, because it pushes you more to a healer style warlock than.
But at the same, I just don't. Now that I realize they don't get the spells, it just adds them to the list. I don't like that. Like, it hurts.
It's definitely a detraction.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go on to the next one. The next one is the Fathomless, and Sean, it's you. I don't know why I rolled. You're the only one that hasn't went yet.
Let's see. The Fathomless. You have plunged into a pact with the deeps, an entity of the ocean, the elemental plane of water, or another otherworldly sea now allows you to draw its thoracic power. It is merely using you to learn about terrestrial realms, or does it want you to open cosmic floodgates to drown the world? They do gain additional spells to the Warlock spell list as well. First level spells are Create or Destroy Water and Thunder Wave. Second level spells are Gust of Wind and Silence. Third level spells are Lightning Bolt and Sleet Storm. Fourth level spells are Control Water and Summon Elemental, but they can only choose Water Elemental. Fifth level spells are Bigby's Hand, which appears as a tentacle, or Cone of Cold. Their first level ability is Tentacles of the Deep. You can magically summon a spectral blade that strikes at your foes. As a bonus action, you create a 10-foot long tentacle at a point you can see within 60 feet of you. The tentacle lasts for 1 minute, or until you use this feature to create another tentacle. When you create the tentacle, you can make a melee spell attack against one creature within 10 feet of it. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. When you reach 10th level in this class, the damage increases to 2d8. As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the tentacle up to 30 feet and repeat the attack. You can summon a tentacle a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all uses when you finish a long rest. They also get Gift of the Sea at first level, which adds a swim speed of 40 feet, and you can breathe underwater. At 6th level, they earn Oceanic Soul. You are now even more at home in the depths. You gain resistance to cold damage. In addition, when you are fully submerged, any creature that is also fully submerged can understand your speech, and you can understand theirs. At 6th level, they also gain Guardian Coil. Your Tentacle of the Deeps can defend you and others, imposing itself between them and harm. When you or a creature you can see takes damage while within 10 feet of a tentacle, you can use your reaction to choose one of those creatures and reduce the damage to that creature by 1d8. When you reach 10th level in this class, the damage reduced by the tentacles is 2d8. At 10th level, they gain Grasping Tentacles. You learn the spell Edvar's Black Tentacles. It counts as a Warlock spell for you, but it doesn't count against the number of spells you know. You can also cast it once without a spell slot, which is big for a Warlock, and you regain the ability to do so when you finish a long rest. Whenever you cast this spell, your patron's magic bolsters you, granting you a number of temporary hit points equal to your Warlock level. Moreover, damage can't break your concentration on the spell. Their capstone ability is Fathomless Plunge. You can magically open temporary conduits to watery destinations. As an action, you can teleport yourself and up to 5 other willing creatures that you can see within 30 feet of you. Amid a whirl of tentacles, you all vanish and then reappear up to 1 mile away in a body of water you've seen, pond size or larger, or within 30 feet of it. Each of you appearing in an unoccupied space within 30 feet of the others. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest.
I mean, it's all good. It's interesting. I
like it.
Yeah.
Thematically, it just it speaks to me.
Be really fun on a
sea campaign.
Sea campaign.
Oh, it'd be so good.
We didn't have a sea campaign. There was just a lot of times we were traveling.
Yeah, we've
on
had
the sea.
many adventures on a boat, traveling on the ocean, but we never actually had a fully dedicated sea campaign.
There's been some good moments on the sea, like when Jamie died to the
Sea
Dragon.
Yeah, sea dragon.
I'm a lady.
Yep. That's what happens when you misgender a dragon.
They eat you. Next up is the Fiend. We get to start at the top again. And it's me. Did you point at me before you did that?
I was guessing myself. I was like,
Guessing you. Gotcha. So you made a pact with a Fiend.
deal with the devil.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially all it is. Your first level spells that you can know. I'm so fucking mad at this. Burning Hands and Command.
It's like we just told him Santa's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've just been writing them down. Like the one time I played a Warlock, I think I just put them on my list. Second level, Blindness, Deafness, Scorching Ray. Third level is Fireball and Stinking Cloud. Fourth level is Fire Shield, Wall of Fire. Fifth level is Flame Strike and Hallow. So at first level, you get Dark One's Blessing. When you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your Charisma modifier plus your Warlock level. At 6th level, you get Dark One's Own Luck. You can call on your patron to alter fate in your favor. When you make an ability check or a saving throw, you can use this feature to add a d10 to your roll. You can do so after seeing the initial roll, but before any of the roll's effects occur. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. At 10th level, you get Fiendish Resilience. You can choose one damage type when you finish a short or long rest. You gain resistance to that damage type until you choose a different one with this feature. Damage from magical weapons or silver weapons ignore this resistance. 14th level, you get Hurl Through Hail. Not hail, hell. It's just a hailstorm outside and you're just getting hit constantly. When you hit a creature with an attack, you can use this feature to instantly transport the target through the lower planes. The creature disappears and hurtles through a nightmare landscape. At the end of your next turn, the target returns to the space it previously occupied or the nearest unoccupied space. If the target is not a fiend, it takes 10d10 psychic damage as it reels from its horrific experience. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. I love this class. I believe it's subclass. I think that's the one that I picked.
Probably. The Hexblade was not out yet.
Yeah. I mean, you can add a d10 to your roll. That's just top notch.
Yeah. It's very good.
It's very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
It's the classic Warlock archetype.
It is classic
Yes,
Warlock.
it is very
Sold your
classic.
soul to get some sort of
Power.
mystical power.
And next up is the Genie. Jarrett.
Yay.
It's a long one. That's
Yeah,
why you said yay.
It's not that bad.
You told me it was long, you bitch.
It's not that bad. I didn't say it's not long. It's just not that bad. So in this one, you basically, it's like, at lad, you find a genie. You get your powers from a genie. Or a djinn, I should say. Sorry, not a genie. There are 4 different types. There's a Dao, a genie, an Ifrit, and a Merid. Dao are based on earth. Genies are air. Ifrits are fire. Merids are water. Your expanded spell list, this is different for each one. For all 4 of them, at first level, you get Detect Good and Evil. You get Phantasmal Force at 2nd level. At 3rd level, you get Create Food and Water. At 4th level, you get...
You don't get shit.
you get access to it. Phantasmal Killer. At 5th level, you get Creation. And the only one that gets a 9th level spell, Wish. You can get access to Wish on your Mystic Arcanum. For the Dao spells, at first level, you get access to Sanctuary. At 2nd level, you get access to Spike Growth. For 3rd levels, you get access to Meld and Stone. At 4th levels, you get Stone Shape. At 5th levels, you get Wall of Stone. For Genies, you get Thunder Wave at first, Gust of Wind at 2nd, Wind Wall at 3rd, Greater Invisibility at 4th, and Seeming at 5th. For Freet, you get Burning Hands at 1st, Scorching Ray at 2nd, Fireball at 3rd, Fire Shield at 4th, Flame Strike at 5th. And for Merid spells, you get Fog Cloud at 1st, Blur at 2nd, Sleet Storm at 3rd, Control Water at 4th, and Cone of Cold at 5th.
They're not bad spells to have access
No,
to.
it's just a lot of nice augmentation of your spell list if you so happen to choose those. As Tyler likes to point out, at first level you get Genie's Vessel.
It's like somebody shot my dog.
Yeah,
I'm real sad about it.
you're like the kid, the undeveloped yeller.
Yeah, fuck.
At first level, Genie's Vessel, your patron gifts gives you a magical vessel that grants you a measure of the genie's power. This vessel is a tiny object, and you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your Warlock spells. You decide what the object is, or you can determine it by rolling randomly on the genie table. There are 6 options. 1 is an oil lamp, 2 is an urn, 3 is a ring with a compartment, 4 is a stoppered bottle, 5 is a hollow statuette, and 6 is an ornate lantern.
How do you not just pick the ring with a compartment?
Then you're the Flash, motherfucker.
Well, there's like the idea of opening up a ring and then casting a spell from it.
Yeah. Or you're like Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. While you're touching the vessel, you can use it in the following ways. Bottled Respite. As an action, you can magically vanish and enter your vessel, which remains in the space you left. The interior of the vessel is an extra-dimensional space in the shape of a 20-foot radius cylinder at 20 feet high and resembles your vessel. The interior is pointed with cushions and low tables and is a comfortable temperature. While inside, you can hear the area around your vessel as if you were in the space. You can remain inside the vessel up to a number of hours equal to twice your proficiency bonus. You can exit the vessel early if you use a bonus action to leave, if you die, or if the vessel is destroyed. When you exit the vessel, you appear in the unoccupied space closest to it. Any objects left in the vessel remain there until carried out. And if the vessel is destroyed, every object stored there harmlessly appears in an unoccupied space closest to the vessel's former space. Once you enter the vessel, you can't enter it again until you finish a long rest. So basically, it's like, a super safe place for you to take a short rest as a Warlock. That's kind of important. Important to note, I guess technically, right, you could take a short rest in the ring, or in your vessel, have someone else carry the vessel while they're traveling, get your free short rest.
Also, I like the
party's genie.
Yeah, literally.
I really just like the idea of taking an action and just shoving yourself in a ring and it falls to the ground.
Bye, motherfuckers. Genie's Wrath. During each of your turns, when you hit with an attack roll, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your proficiency bonus. The damage type is determined by your patron. Bludgeoning damage if you're a Dow. Thunder damage if it's a genie. Fire if it's an Ifrit. And cold if it's a Merid. The vessel's AC equals your spells. The vessel's AC equals your spell save DC. Its hit points equal your Warlock level plus your proficiency bonus, and it is immune to poison and psychic damage. If the vessel is destroyed or you lose it, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. The ceremony can be performed during a short or long rest. And the previous vessel is destroyed if it still exists. The vessel vanishes in a flare of elemental power when you die.
I also like the idea, not to cut you off right before you started talking again, but to just be in the vessel and like an enemy know it and they just start hitting it and then you just pop out and stab them.
Surprise!
Surprise, motherfucker.
Elemental gift. At 6th level, you take on the characteristics of your patron's kind. You now have resistance to a damage determined by your patron's kind. Again, bludgeoning if it's a Dow, thunder if it's a genie, fire if it's a Ifrit, or cold if it's a Merid. In addition, as a bonus action, you can give yourself a flying speed of 30 feet that lasts for 10 minutes, during which you can hover. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Did you say about the Genie's Wrath as far as like which one you get?
Yeah.
Like which one you take and the... Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just making sure. I guess I didn't hear it. I was thinking of jokes.
At 10th level, you get Sanctuary Vessel. When you enter your Genie's Vessel via the Bottled Respite feature, you can now choose up to 5 willing creatures that you can see within 30 feet of you, and the chosen creatures are drawn into the vessel with you. As a bonus action, you can eject any number of creatures from the vessel, and everyone is ejected if you leave or die, if the vessel is destroyed, or if the vessel is destroyed. In addition, anyone, including you, who remains within the vessel for 10 minutes gains the benefits of a short rest. And anyone can add your proficiency bonus to the number of hit points they regain if they spend any hit die as a part of a short rest there. So, take what I said about Bottle Respite and just make it for your whole party.
Basically. As long as you don't have a gigantic party with...
Yeah.
Over.
Do you have 10 minutes? Okay. Everybody in the compartment.
Yep. Get in the ring, bitch.
Yep. Get in the ring. At 14th, you gain access to Limited Wish. You entreat your patron to grant you a small wish. As an action, you can speak your desire to your Genie's Vessel, requesting the effect of one spell that is 6th level or lower and has a casting time of 1 action. The spell can be from any class spell list, and you don't need to meet the requirements in that spell, such as including costly components. The spell simply takes effect as part of this action. You can use this feature Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish 1d4 long rests. So not only do you get access to Wish, you get access to shittier Wish, but still useful.
And you get to use it.
Oh, we need Heroes Feast, and we don't have a Cleric or a Druid in the party. Heroes Feast.
Basically. So next up on the list is the great old one. We're not going to talk about it. It's one from the player's handbook. It didn't really give you a whole lot of great stuff, if I remember
It's
right.
basically like if it's Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
If you choose like a Lovecraftian patron, that's the one for you. It's all about psychic and mental horror and eldritch shit.
The Cthulhu class.
Yeah, the Cthulhu class.
Basically. That's what everybody I've played with has played it as. And then next up is the Hexblade, and Sean, it's you.
The Hexblade
Do you like how I said that before it hit the table?
Yeah.
That's because it was him. I
know.
always forget and just roll anyway.
The Hexblade is probably the most multi-class dip in the game.
Definitely.
Let's see. You have made a pact with a mysterious entity from the Shadowfell, a force that manifests in sentient magic weapons carved from stuff of shadow. The mighty sword Black Razor is the most noticeable example of these weapons, which have been spread across the multiverse for ages. At the extra spells Hexblade learn, first level is Shield and Wrathful Smite. Both good spells. Shield's a little expensive for Warlocks, as they only gain limited slots.
I don't know if it'd be worth it to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it.
Second level spells are Blur and Branding Smite. Third level are Blink and Elemental Weapon. Fourth level are Phantasmal Killer and Staggering Smite. And fifth level spells are Banishing Smite and Cold of Cold. Their first ability, Hexblade's Curse. You gain the ability to place a baleful curse on someone. As a bonus action, choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. The target is cursed for 1 minute or 10 rounds. The curse ends early if the target dies, you die, or you are incapacitated. Until this curse ends, you gain the following benefits. You gain a bonus to damage rolls against the cursed target. The bonus equals your proficiency bonus. Any attack roll you make against the cursed target is a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20. If the cursed target dies, you regain hit points equal to your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier. You can't use this feature again until you finish a short or long rest.
And this is why it's probably one of the most dipped into.
Which is Hex Warrior. At first level, you acquire the training necessary to effectively arm yourself for battle. You gain proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. The influence of your patron also allows you to mystically channel your will through a particular weapon. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one weapon that you are proficient with and that lacks the two-handed property. When you attack with that weapon, you can use your Charisma modifier instead of Strength or Dexterity for the attack and damage rolls. The benefit lasts until you finish a long rest. If you later gain Pack of the Blade feature, this benefit extends to every pack weapon you conjure with that feature, no matter the weapon's type. This is the ability that Paladins dip into Hexblade for. It helps reduce their attribute requirements. At 6th level, Hexblade gains a Cursed Spectre. You can curse the soul of a person you slay, temporarily binding it to your service. When you slay a humanoid, you can cause its spirit to rise from its corpse as a spectre. When the spectre appears, it gains temporary hit points equal to half your Warlock level. You roll initiative for the spectre, which has its own turns. It obeys your verbal commands, and it gains a special bonus to its attack rolls equal to your Charisma modifier. The spectre remains in your service until the end of your next long rest, at which point it vanishes to the afterlife. You can only use this once per long rest. Armor of Hexes. At 10th level, your hex grows more powerful. If the target cursed by your Hexblade's curse hits you with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to roll a d6. On a 4 or higher on the result, the attack instead misses you, regardless of its roll. And their capstone is Master of Hexes. Starting at 14th level, you can spread your Hexblade's curse from a slain creature to another. When the creature cursed by your Hexblade's curse dies, you can apply the curse to a different creature you can see within 30 feet of you, providing you aren't incapacitated. When you apply the curse in this way, you don't regain hit points from the death of the previously cursed creature. It's a very front-loaded subclass.
You get so much at level 1. You know.
Do you need anything else?
Do you need anything else? I mean, Armor of Hexes is actually really cool and like really useful ability.
Yeah, it's not bad to go farther.
No.
But you also don't have to.
No, if you're a paladin, go in there for your 1 level dip.
And your 2 spell slots on short rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up is the Undead. It is from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. Is that not what it's called? Yeah.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to break it down. Basically, if you want a deathless fiend, not fiend, but a being to be your patron.
Yeah.
If you want somebody who's going to
A
deal...
lich.
Yeah,
A lich, a vampire, any undead creature.
Yeah.
Mummy.
I mean, yeah.
Sure. That's the class you're going to take, and that's kind of where everything's kind of based off of that.
Mm-hmm.
It goes into the undead aspect. And then last is also the Undying, which is kind of...
the same thing, but shittier. So don't play that one. Play the undead.
Yeah. It's also, which I said Undead is from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. The Undying's from Sword Coast, so the Undead is the newer,
Yeah.
not necessarily version because they're different.
But essentially the upgraded,
Yeah.
better version.
Too similar to not say one's better than the other, and they do essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, so that wraps up the Warlock subclass, class and subclasses. So we're going to go into our question. We've got from Dungeon and Armory still, because that's going to be the entirety of the class breakdowns. It's which Warlock would you add to your party? So your options are Constantine from DC. Ethan's not here. Go fuck himself. I hope no one picks this one.
We won't.
The next one coming up.
We don't have to.
I know. It's Gul'dan from WoW.
Yeah.
And then Fjord and Laudna, both from Critical Role. So that was the other thing we were going to say is if you want to see, is she Undying or
Undead.
if you want to see an undead Warlock, you can watch Critical Role Campaign 3. Laudna is...
She's actually a multi-class, so actually both her and Ford are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Laudna is a sorcerer warlock, and Ford ends up becoming a paladin warlock.
Gotcha. He started with Warlock, though, correct? Gotcha.
He's a hexblade.
Was that your...
Texas accent.
Okay. I was wondering if that was your Travis impression.
No, I can't do a trap. I would never try.
I would never try. All right. So, first up to tell us who they're going to pick. Sean, who are you picking?
I would have to pick Constantine.
Okay. Thank God.
He's a wealth of knowledge, has
Fuck
a
you,
ritual
Ethan.
for every occasion, and he's got some pretty good one-liners.
He does. He's funny. I like him. I miss his show.
Yeah.
I guess I need to roll for the next one. It's me. I'm picking Fjord. That may be your pick too, but
It is.
okay. He's just
I picked the text blade himself.
the text.
I didn't make that joke.
I know, but
He did.
it's still funny.
Probably my second favorite character from Critical Role.
Really.
He's so fucking good.
So now, out of curiosity, what's your favorite?
It's Grog.
Okay. I like that they're both Travis's
Yeah,
characters.
he's you know who might end up being my third if I ever catch up on campaign 3.
I'm gonna go with Chetney.
Yeah.
So I seen a clip. This is topical, so I like it since we're talking about Travis. I seen a clip of someone asking him. It was tied into Chetney. I don't know. If, I'm sure you know that he's starts with a W.
Arroo!
There you go. Okay, somebody asked him. They're like, what is Chetney's obsession with werewolves? Or like, no, it was Grog's obsession with werewolves.
Travis wants to play a fucking werewolf.
No, it was his exact response. He was
They're
like,
fucking cool. I want to play one.
He's like, it's not Grog's, it's Travis's.
It's like a 6-year thing. He's wanting to play a werewolf.
He finally got to.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I've watched the clip of him turning into one.
Oh, it's so cool.
Chetney might be my favorite.
It's really good.
And it's simply because of the way that he treats Dorian. Like, I could give a fuck less about everything else going on. All right, we need to wrap this up. Now we're just vamping.
Vamp, 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 vampity vamp.
That's what we do. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Sean, for being on both episodes, Rogue and the Warlock episode.
I've
But-
enjoyed it. Thank you
Good.
for having me.
Good deal.
And as always, fuck you, Ethan.
Yep. I feel like people are going to think.
He's not here.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to think we wouldn't say that if he was here, but I would say it to his face.
I'd say it. I'd
Honestly,
look him right in
a
his
lot of
dead
times that I've
soulless
been
eyes and say it right to him.
honestly, a lot of times that I've been like missing things, it's because I've been messaging him on Discord, telling him he's a bitch. So if you want to get in on calling Ethan a bitch on our Discord, you can go to anchor.fm/chaotically nerdy. You can talk to all of us there. You can find a link to our Facebook page, and you can keep up with what we're working on in the future. Who knows? Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.